This evening, Dataram continues to be a person of interest after fleeing the country. Drug-addicted Annandale resident hacks son to death. Ministry of Housing scraps turnkey project. Yesterday, an on-signal turn causes injury of 6, a missing finger, and a minibus underwater. In the region, Tropical Storm Matthew causes extensive flooding and claims life in St. Vincent. And internationally, train crash in New York this morning creates havoc.
From SAFETV headquarters in South Ramsgate Gardens, this is SAFETV Headline News with Rihanna Ahmed.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel, as well as our website, safetvghana.com. Join us. President David Granger on Thursday called Barry Dataram a character of interest as he continues to hide from law enforcement officers outside of the jurisdiction. Andrew Weeks reports.
Now that self-confessed drug lord Barry Dataram remains on the run, having been sentenced to 5 years in jail and fined $164.2 million after he was found guilty of possession of over 225 pounds of cocaine, on Thursday, President David Granger called the convict a character of interest. He spoke with the Ministry of the Presidency Media Department. Listen.
Mr. Dataram is a person of interest. He is a well-known character in Guyana, and I would expect that even though the judicial branch is separate, that there should be a greater level of alertness on the part of the magistracy and the judiciary in matters like this. And I don't regard it as a failing on the part of law enforcement agencies, but it is definitely an error which ought to have been avoided.
Dataram was charged back in 2015 after agents of the Custom Anti-Narcotics Unit nabbed him with large pockets of cocaine at a home of his house. 3 other persons, including Dataram's reputed wife, were in the home at the time, and they were all charged for possession. However, the magistrate found the 3 co-defendants not guilty of the charges. 2 of them were in court for the decision. Dataram's wife is believed to be on the run with him. Mr. Granger said having a convict out there on the run is harmful to the nation's national interest.
So I would urge the law enforcement agencies to alert their counterparts in neighboring states. Even though Mr. Dataram might have a foreign passport, it might be a forged passport, I would urge our law enforcement agencies to use every legitimate measure to bring him back into this jurisdiction so that he could serve his sentence.
The head of KANU, James Singh, has expressed disappointment that all 4 defendants were not found guilty in the case. He believed that the evidence was overwhelmingly enough to get convictions for all 4. It is unclear whether there will be an appeal of the verdict for the 3 found guilty. Andrew Weeks reporting for SAFETV2 Headline News.
Thanks, Andrew. An on-signal turn resulted in 6 injured, a missing finger, and a minibus underwater. Yesterday at around 4:30 p.m., the driver of a Toyota Allian heading east down Homestretch Avenue attempted to turn into the Jubilee Park entrance without signaling. The sudden action caused a Route 48 minibus immediately behind the vehicle to collide into it. The driver lost control of the minibus, which flew directly into the trench. Eyewitnesses to the scene immediately rescued the passengers from the sinking vehicle. 6 people were injured, including a child and a woman who lost a part of a finger. Both drivers were taken into police custody. As of this morning, the minibus was removed from the trench. Also, a public-spirited individual at the scene turned over some possessions belonging to a man by the name of Gary Charles. Gary Charles can make contact with SAFETV Channel 2 to claim his valuables. Meanwhile, 10% wage talks have now reached the desk of President David Granger. On Thursday, the President was asked to comment on the issues and said that the GTU and GPSU wage talks are 2 entirely different stories where discussions are concerned. Here's what the President had to say during today's recording of the Public Interest Program.
It is not my view that the GTU negotiations were part of the negotiation with the GPSU. So I would have expected a separate arrangement to be made, and I would say that the actual agreement between the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union should be something which should be kept separate from the GPSU negotiation. And we, as a government, accept, we acknowledge, we observe the collective bargaining agreement. That is how the GPSU agreement was arrived at in the first place. So I wouldn't expect that whatever decision has been taken at the level of the GTU would be the final decision, and I would urge that we continue to negotiate in good faith.
This payment, if made, could be seen sort of as a preliminary, even as negotiations are...
Exactly. Even with regard to the GPSU, the agreement, it's not a final agreement. The government of Guyana is still in engagement with the GPSU. So if it's not final for GPSU, it can be final for GTU.
The turnkey project within the Ministry of Housing under the Central Housing and Planning Authority will not continue in its current form. Minister of Housing Valerie Patterson made the announcement recently. Here's Andrew Weeks with more.
Minister Valerie Patterson said the turnkey project is no more because the contractor who built the homes at back of Diamond has done a poor job. Minister Patterson is now talking about a new plan by the ministry.
This government is not going to continue that 1,000 home project in its current form. And our refocus.
The Information Agency said because of the poor standard of the houses, the ministry has hired a new project manager, Kenneth Dazel, to complete the job.
On the 1st of September, we employed a project manager specifically for that project. The first phase of 200, 141, currently in construction, would know, this is no news now to the people, that many of the houses, the 59 that are already occupied, they currently have problems with
houses were completed. 6 of the 147 houses have been rehabilitated and handed over to the new owners. 141 are currently under construction and are expected to be completed.
$349 million to repair Hope Canal Bridge. And government opens tender to ensure 16 housing areas have electricity.
Jewelry, second floor at the Giftland Mall. Custom design jewelry made to order in just 24 hours. Call at 222-7283 or visit us on Facebook at Raj Jewelry, because love deserves a ring.
Shop and save on your favorite brands by just showing your card. No points to accumulate or bills to keep. It's that simple. Apply today for your John Lewis Styles VIP Rewards card. See store for more details. John Lewis
is made from 100% pure vegetable oil. This Falcadi is a delight when preparing sweetmeats and other dishes for healthy cooking with a rich buttery taste and aroma. It is used for religious purposes and is a principal fuel for burning. Umra Falcadi is light, pure, with a real ghee texture.
When it comes to power tools, you know very well that Sylvie's Variety Store is your household name in that department. Among the very best in U.S. and European craftsmanship and technology comes the Rigid line of DeWalt store on High and Hadfield Streets, Georgetown.
It's always fresh, tasty, enticing, and the best in town. Served hot from our experienced chefs. From also a wide variety of pastries and dessert. We can also host your luncheons, cocktails, parties, and formal gathering. For reservation, call 225-1730, 225-0038, and delivery 225-0195 or 225-0159. The new thriving Chinese restaurant, 32 Main Street.
Only at Kissoon's can you get the guaranteed offer of up to 50% discount on every item in their blowout factory surplus sale. 50% off for Guyana's 50th anniversary right through the year. Check it out at their spacious factory outlet at Rheinfeldt Industrial Park, where parking is no problem. They're in the mood to celebrate at Kissoon's. Once you want it, Kissoon's will make sure you don't leave without it.
What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's for dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more.
Since the town clerk temporarily removed vendors from the Rob and Alexander Streets area, vendors are now complimenting the town clerk and City Hall for a job well done. Find out more in this Andrew Weeks report.
Vendors who were temporarily removed from the Border Market Alexander Street area have decided to praise City Hall for the good work they have done to transform the area.
I would like what they're doing because the city's supposed to keep clean, and it is very decent, and they are doing a good job.
That some is clean and some is not, and it's unfair that some clean and some ain't cleaning. That is the problem we get in, and I need them to look into the matter. That's all I have to say.
The manager of Mike's Pharmacy also commented on the works done to clear the area of illegal vending and dumping of garbage.
I think the most important thing is the lack of garbage. I mean, prior to the city council doing what it did, outside our business space every morning was basically a garbage dump. Where the vendors out there would normally pay the junkies, as they may call them, to discard of the garbages. And as soon as the vendors turn about, the junkies dump it to the closest spot. So since the move that they've made, I mean,
more vendors showed up and shared their views on the cleanliness of the area, as one spoke of the misconception given to councillors on the temporary removal of vendors.
Keep it that way.
This is tidy and clean.
Yes.
That is what you support. You support it.
Before having it this year. Well, every time that Sevon's Waste Management cleans Border Market, it is always properly done. So, congrats to Sevon's for, well, they now start for the job that they are doing.
Market on Rock Street, and they destroyed me about rubbish, garbage, about the places. Try to get the place clean, but it's a lot of garbage. We need a bin.
So the place now...
When it comes to the hygiene, this place was in a very deplorable condition. Very dirty and nasty. As far as I'm concerned, most of the vendors, I wouldn't even say the vendors alone, even the business personnel, they have been warned. I know I'm not guessing this, because I'm fair when it comes to these kind of things. The drivers have to negotiate between in the street and the whole in Alexander Street. And I believe what the town clerk have done, or the city have done in general, is to be fair to each and everyone, be negotiating with them. And now I want to commend them as well, because I see they take on an individual that keeping of such. So I don't know what is this big set of critics and what have been done to the people of Border Downland. What really happened here? People are accustomed to living in the nastiness over a period of time. And even this business that we is in front of have been a sufferer to the vendors even before Robert had died. I've been complaining what been going on, and nobody paid no mind. And if the council in general, straight out with the town clerk and the mayor, Madam Mayor, so to speak, is trying to move us to another level where the hygiene status is concerned, we must appreciate it. Because I can remember previously disease and things break out in the city, if you can recall. And now I think each and everyone should cooperate and applaud the town clerk and team instead of criticizing such, so to speak, and thank you.
Andrew Weeks reporting for SAFETV2 Headline News.
Thanks, Andrew. Initially, former Minister of Agriculture Dr. Leslie Ramsamy had signaled the intention of the then government.
Contractor who did the bridge pointed it out to the engineers, the contracted engineers, that it's faulty and what would happen. They are the Ministry of Public Works and Agriculture fixing the bridge, I think, right now, and we'll try and get our funds back from the consulting engineers.
4 months later, these monies have not been recovered. The move to ignore professional advice was seen as one aimed at gaining political points. Points that have perhaps tumbled because taxpayers are now burdened with
the allotted lands without the proper infrastructure.
Really and truly, these schemes should not have been occupied before electricity allocates a piece of land to people, but we must ensure that all the services are in place. And so when we took office, those housing schemes.
Budget. The minister also gave an update on the absence of the chairman of the Central Housing and Planning Authority.
Appropriated in the 2016 budget for CHMPA, but you would appreciate that CHMPA has a board, and the board has only given the green light just about a couple of weeks ago.
You're not saying that the board was dragging its feet on the matter, right?
I am not saying that, but well, Mr. Hamilton, let me answer the question directly. Yes, I've been in contact with him. He has not yet resumed, but the board is meeting as often as possible. The board would select a chairman when they meet, and they're having their usual meetings. Mr. Hamilton Green's absence has not caused any delay with the board. As we speak, the board is having...
Minister Patterson also stated that the completion of the project is not a walk in the park, but it will be completed in the shortest possible time next year.
That we are going to have the procurement completed by the end of the year, and within the first quarter of next year, we're going to ensure that all those areas receive electricity.
Wow. And Minister...
As you would agree, the process will take some time to procure.
Andrew Weeks reporting for SAFETV2 Headline News.
Thanks, Andrew. Domestic violence, alcoholism, drug addiction and suicide affects all of Guyana. But with Region 6 facing the brunt of these social ills, the Ministry of Social Protection is partnering with non-governmental organizations.
Here, and my conclusion in the region on Thursday, we'll put together a team from TANE and some of you represented here so that we can have a regional discussion with the town council.
And you get the second one at 50% off. You better hurry. John Lewis Styles half price sale ends soon. It's John Lewis Styles buy one get one at half price sale. Buy any pair of shoes, shirt, top, handbag or lingerie and you
with a distinctive flavor. Umda Palkagi is made from 100% pure vegetable oil. This Palkagi is a delight when preparing sweetmeats and all the dishes, rich buttery taste and aroma. It is used for religious purposes and is a principal fuel for burning. Umda Palkagi is light, pure, with a real ghee texture.
Don't let this moment in history pass you by. Kissoons want every Guyanese home to showcase the glorious event of our Jubilee celebration. Kissoons have gone crazy. Every item is on sale right through this year in the Big Broad Factory Surplus Sale, up to 50% off for the 50th birthday at Kissoons.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you have a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have
In news, its mark in the Caribbean, causing extensive flooding, evacuations, and loss of life. Eyewitness News has our story, followed by an NBC weather report.
Okay, I'm here at Bookament Bay where the rapid response unit of the police force are helping to evacuate persons whose homes were flooded out. They're here at the secondary school, but apparently this isn't the death. About what is taking place here today. How have you guys been affected?
Well, basically, around Minute Street, I was on the upstairs of my unfinished house, looking at the river, and then after all of a sudden, I just saw one gush of water. It was my family to get out, and after I realized that the water was getting higher, I went further down to see if any more persons were there. And then I realized there was a neighbor who was living at the back of me. So I have to run, and I was being swept away by the river. But I managed to go back up and come down her house until she get out. And so everybody was able to come to safety.
So do you know how many persons left their house?
Well, basically everyone on the left-hand side.
About how many altogether? The police said about 25. It's about that?
Yes, about that.
So I see adults, I see children, babies in arms, senior citizens. More than 25 persons?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're here at the Bookament Bay Secondary School, and I think I heard you saying that this is not a designated shelter?
Yes, it is not a designated shelter.
Where's the shelter?
The shelter is about 10 to 15 minutes from here, walk. And I don't think that it is safe enough in time of disaster. Because when you hurry to run up there, you have to meet up on the same river. So, and you have to take the main road to be on the safe side.
And the shelter is the NIS Senior Citizens Center?
Yes, please.
Also, I heard you express some concerns about security for your homes and possessions.
Yes, basically when you have disasters like these and everyone is evacuated out of the village, I mean, you have persons who don't have a conscience. They will take the opportunity to go and loot your homes. For example, I heard it happen in Dominica. So I decided I'm going to stay here and be the guard for my people because we are our brother's keeper.
But you're also wet. Do you have a dry clothes to put on?
Well, after the water is subsided, I'm going to go home and get some dry clothes and be back out.
Miss, do you have anything to say? I see you here with your baby. No, nothing. What is your mission here, you and your officers? Saving life.
Take life and property.
But I saw you doing some transportation.
Well, we have to do what we have to do for our fellow citizens.
So where are you taking the people?
Folks are going to...
Hold it down a second. Yeah, sorry.
Folks are going to Raylan, and some folks are going to Layu. That's basically about it.
Well, the residents have expressed some concern about the security of their homes and police doing patrols in this area.
That will be done. That will be taken into consideration.
As you said, just now, Sir Antilles.
And internationally, a commuter train crashed into one of the busiest train stations in the New York area during the morning rush hour on Thursday, killing...
You just heard a kaboom, and you could hear it got quiet, because the first thing you're going to think of terrorists. I'm sorry, this is how I go in this country. I said, my God, somebody blew it up, and then I looked clearer, I saw the train in the wall.
First thing I heard was the explosion of him hitting the bumper block, and that train just flying through the air.
I was in the third car of the train. We crashed, and the lights went out, a few people screamed, and I guess now looking back at it, I think it didn't slow down. I definitely didn't slow down. There was no brakes. All of a sudden, just crash. And then when we got out of the car, I could see that the front car was essentially off the rails.
Felt like eternity, you know. I think there was a woman. She was pinned under some debris next to the first car. everyone picked. There were 8 people that tried to pick that up, and they were able to get her out of that.
I helped a lady that was climbing out of the window. She had her leg was gashed up really bad. We walked her, carried her to the sidewalk, and then I went back and we helped somebody else get off.
Anyone who can look at the damage to the first half of that first car doesn't have to be a professional to know that there's some serious injuries going on.
And that's SAFETV2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find SAFETV2 Headline News on Facebook.